Hey, it's D. It's a brand new episode coming right for you, right on the FTO Network. Enjoy. All right, guys, it's a brand new episode of Comic Point. We got a lot to talk about. We got two comic books. One I didn't read, and one I did read. I'm one of your hosts, D.
And I am Justice from FTO Nerd.
We got Dark Crisis issue number 1, and you got Justice talking about the first 5 issues of The Land of the Living Gods, issue 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Before we do that, we do got some nerdy news to talk about before we get too hardcore into that. I know we just talked about before the show that you just watched the Miss Marvel TV show, and for those of you who haven't seen the show, spoiler alert, major spoiler alert. Miss Marvel is technically a mutant, so that's like the big catch. The internet's going crazy over this. Yeah. It I can't help but think to myself, like, oh wow, like I know you and I personally have been talking about like how the MCU is going to mess up the mutants, and like this is like technically, if we get real technical, Professor Xavier was the first mutant we saw inside the MCU, but but like the way like they're promoting Khan as being like the first showcase mutant of the MCU, it's not going off to a good start, and like a lot of fans are mad because they're not following the source material. You're not been talking about the source material for I don't know how long. I don't know how long, and everyone else is catching up. How do you feel about that, man?
For me, number one, I watched Miss Marvel and I actually liked the show. It was actually cool.
I heard good things. I heard like all the critics like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. It was actually, this show really did a good job of showing her and dealing like with her religion. And it was like, because she's a kid. So it's like a kid show without being too kiddie. You feel me? So it's definitely dope. And but so with her, because there was a couple changes. Number one, her power change, which I still think her power change is stupid, but I guess since I like the show, I'm kind of cool with it.
It's more cultural, right? Like it's an amulet that she got from one of her ancestors, and like it gives her her powers, right? Is that how it is?
It like the way they describe it in the show, it doesn't give her her powers. Apparently, the whole time, since she's a mutant, the whole time it's already in her. It just unlocks that, and then that's how she kind of gets her powers. But she's like so in the show, you find out that she's a Djinn. It's like she's from like her great grandmother or great grandmother. Her great grandmother's from like, this is what we are told y'all, spoiler alerts. Her great grandmother is basically like from this other dimension.
Okay.
And so they came over here, and then like she ends up having like family and all that good stuff. But then so she's like part Djinn, but she's also a mutant. And that's how the amulet unlocks her mutant ability.
Oh, so like the Djinn power, like also activate her mutant powers, but like she also has that like Djinn adjacent mutant powers attached. I get you. Okay.
So I'm not quite sure because so like after they say like she's kind of the Djinn, like they don't really go too much back into her being Djinn. Next time they talk about her powers, it kind of just says like it's like the very end of the series, the clip that everybody done seen. It's like, I look back into your powers, and it says like, it was your genes are still different from the rest of your families, even though some of them are like half Djinn. There's like you just have something different about you, and he's like a mutation, and then you hear the X-Men theme.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! They did not put the theme inside of it. Do not. They did. They did not put the theme inside of it.
They did. You hear the little X-Men from 90s joke. You hear the little X-Men joke. That's how you know. That's how you know it's real, because you heard that one.
You gotta be kidding me. Anyways, God, I saw what you were talking about with Taskmaster too. Taskmaster is a woman, apparently.
Oh, you actually looked it up?
Someone posted a picture where like Taskmaster with her mask off, and like it was a woman. Like, okay, I guess.
But that's all you saw, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it gets worse than that.
It gets worse than that.
Yo, I mean, like it gets way worse. I'm like you seeing that is the least bit of the Taskmaster.
That's wow. Okay. Well, I didn't know Taskmaster going to be gender bent for this universe, but I guess so. All right. You know
Yeah,
what?
but how do
Just
you feel? So for me, number one, I'm not like a huge Miss Marvel fan. I know her from reading her in like Champions and other people's stuff. So, and I know very little about her. And I know that she's supposed to be an Inhuman, I believe. So, like, I know people are mad about that because it kind of like it's like they're trying to do away with Inhumans.
yeah, because like that was like our whole thing. Like, they didn't want her to be a part of like the mutant thing. They want her to have like her own separate thing. Like making her an Inhuman was the best way to go about that. She went on adventures with her and Lockjaw for a good while because like, she had to embrace not only her Pakistani side, not only her superhero side, but also being an
Mhm.
Inhuman. So like, it kind of like just shoves all that off the fucking table.
And that's what I see a lot of people saying. For me, I never really care for Inhumans at all. So, like, for me, it doesn't really matter.
They're
But
hard to write.
also, for like her story, I feel like because the way, like you said, like they want her to be set apart. And I also, this was another thing that somebody had said. I had seen somebody said it was like her, her basically being a mutant. It kind of sucks because like so many mutant characters just get sidelined,
Yeah.
just off jump, especially like mutants of color. So yeah, mutants of color, like they get like pushed off to the side sometimes, except for like Storm. Even she gets pushed off to the
I
side
mean,
sometimes.
like you can even like talk about like the colorism with like the casting of Khan inside of this because like she's not supposed to be light skinned, she's dark skinned in the comics, like dark skinned in the comics, and they really lighten her up. Her and Chavez got lightened up for like the MCU. So it's not even like just like pushing like a person of color mutant off like the sidelines. Like they're also like lighten up the comic book characters through the TV shows, and no one's really talking about that.
True. Yeah, I
Like
haven't seen nobody say that.
Like don't like I've seen one person talk about it. Like she gets blasted for talking. It's a woman who talks about it. She gets blasted for talking about it. Both American Chavez and Kamala Khan are both dark skinned Latina, Afro Latinas, dark skinned Pakistani women, and like they're both lighting up for the MCU. It's annoying.
True. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, man.
So I'm guessing you definitely hate the her being her being a mutant.
I wouldn't use that word, but I'm not happy about it. Like I prefer her being. To be honest, when she first came out, I thought she was like a Spider-Man architect. Like she was like a Peter Parker architect. Like she was like the new Peter Parker, young person, very nerdy. I thought she was annoying because like she was just fangirl over all the characters. Oh my god, it's Wolverine! Like I know all your stats, your adamantium skin and Weapon X. Like you just rattle off all their stuff. Like I do not want, nor do I need to hear this while I'm reading the comic book about characters I already know about.
Sure.
And she changed. Like she joined the Champions. Her character changed. She met Miles. Like they started to click. Like they really like roll like a good interaction with all the characters in the Champions. I thought like their interactions in the Champions was good. Like and they leveled out in
Yeah,
Champions.
definitely.
I'll say that they level all those characters out in Champions. But her being Inhuman was like a big part of her character, and like it really made you appreciate the Inhumans. I think like her being Inhuman is what prompted the Inhumans TV show to be made. To be completely honest with you, man.
True. I mean, you may be right. I mean, I out of if you think, well, at least to me, since I'm not too big on Inhumans anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
in the last, let's say, I think last thing Inhumans I can really remember was kind of when they was trying to do the Inhumans versus the X-Men, or was it
It was
Avengers?
Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It didn't. The only time I remember like Inhumans coming in like them, but like mostly for the most part, she's been the most popular Inhuman in like the last 5 or so years, I would say, maybe
yeah.
more. At least to me, I mean, she's been the only one that I've really seen. So I can definitely see them making the show just because of her, even though I heard that show sucked. I didn't even watch it.
The Inhumans show.
Yeah.
It was slow. It was like really slow. I watched like one episode, like the pilot, and that's about as far as I got. I couldn't.
Yeah.
It
People
wasn't
say
it
that
wasn't for
joint
me.
sucked.
So I feel like if they wanted to do something with the Inhumans, the best way to go about it would be the Eternals. Like put the Inhumans and the Eternals together, considering like they got such a connection in the comics to each other. That's like the best the best possible way to go about it. If you want to bring the Inhumans back, that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not gonna, but yeah.
True.
Let's be honest, man. They ain't gonna bring those guys back. Why would they?
They are doing away with Inhumans, yo. That's what they're basically trying to do.
They're gonna like, as we talked about with Craven with Sony, as we talked about with who's a recent character we talked about, the Thor, Gore, with Craven, with Gore, they're gonna nerf the X-Men. They're gonna make the X-Men not about being oppressed, not about being marginalized. They're gonna make them like, you know, Krakoan citizens. Like, they're gonna have like all their stuff together. They're gonna be like embracing Kamala Khan, and she's gonna be welcome to like the whole mutant world and away from all the other people. Like, not to worry about being oppressed or marginalized, because they got their whole big group together, and they're gonna just gonna flow in and out from Krakoa into Earth. And that's going to be that. Like, it's not going to be the X-Men that we know about. It's going to be something entirely different. And the fans are going to be angry. I can guarantee that for you. They're going to be upset.
Like X-Men fans.
Yeah, why wouldn't they? Like that's the whole thing. Like, I wrote like a story about this maybe 6 years ago about like did the X-Men win? Like when the Black Lives Matter movement was getting strong, when like, you know, the LGBTQ movement was getting strong, when that, like, you know, all the other like marginalized group movements were getting like stronger and stronger. This is way before the murder of George Floyd. Like, when all those things were like getting traction and getting speed, and people were like listening to it. I wrote a piece on like did the X-Men win? In the comic books, like they kind of had to, because like all the marginalized groups were speaking up for themselves. Like we're tired of like being oppressed. Like, stop like oppressing us. And people are still saying that. And like, you know, how do you write the X-Men when everyone says like, you know, we're not being oppressed, calling things out, calling out police, calling out Congress people? Like, you can't keep writing stories about that happening when people are telling like we want this to stop happening. So you had to have the X-Men win, and that's when Hickman created. No, honestly, like no more than 2 years after I wrote that, Hickman came out with the X story that everyone seems to be talking about, House of X. Is that what it is?
House of M?
The big story that brought Krakoa.
I don't remember the name.
Neither do I. That's how, like, you know, it started out strong. It was like all the stories really do at Marvel or DC. And like I don't remember like the story of it. Like, it's a story where it's a story like the birth of Krakoa. Yeah.
Yeah. For me personally, I don't know if this would be like a hot take.
Okay.
I don't know if it would be, but for me personally, I never thought mutants and like X-Men fit into the Marvel universe.
Wow.
Cause it's like weird when you think about it. 1 second, everybody's like hyping up, you know, certain heroes like Captain America, like they hyping up these heroes, and then next, on the other hand, they're downgrading the mutants. You feel me? Like it's just it. I just felt like, and I felt like mutants and the X-Men were big enough to be in like their own universe. You feel me? Like because it just always weirded me out. Like, we got the Avengers, we got the X-Men, like that's, it just weirds me out that we have a group that people celebrate and then a group that people don't celebrate. I mean, I guess that shows how mutants are oppressed, but it just always was weird to me. Like, we celebrate one superpower group, but we don't this other superpower group.
In the same universe. Yeah.
In the same city sometimes.
I mean, yeah, because like, didn't Beast join the Avengers for a while? Like, he's like top tier mutant. Then, like, you know, you had Havoc and Rogue joining the Avengers for a good while, and they were still hated. It still had like tomatoes and rocks thrown at it when they were saving people. So yeah, that didn't make any sense to me either. Like, I was who I forgot who did that run. I think it was Bendis who did that run, like the X-Men run.
It probably was.
Like, I know you don't like Bendis, but like it was an interesting story. Like seeing Havoc or Alex Summers being like the leader of the X-Men, like, and the X-Men was still getting shit on the entire time. It didn't make any sense to me.
Right. Yeah, but for me, I don't know. I always figured they'd be in their own universe.
Yeah, I think, like, you know, talking like that, like, is what getting them to this point. Is what's getting the MCU to this point. But I think you and I both know there's going to be fans who are not going to be happy about this.
100%, 100%. Bro, they already mad. It was a whole like Inhumans versus X-Men fans on Twitter. It was hilarious. Well, I will see. I don't. I don't know. For me, I think it's just gonna be weird how they bring in mutants. Like, I don't know. I just think it's gonna be weird regardless.
It was Rick Remender and John Cassidy. It was the Uncanny Avengers. That's the story I'm thinking about. The Uncanny Avengers.
When the mutant island, or when the mutant island comes alive, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, when and it was Thor, Havoc, Scarlet Witch, Rogue, Captain America, and Wolverine a part of the team, and Havoc was the
Oh,
leader.
okay.
Yeah, that was the story, and like the mutants on that team were still getting crapped on like the entire time. This is after like House of M, after all that stuff happened. People still knew about what House of M was too, and I think like a couple more events happened after that. But Uncanny Avengers was the story where like or what you're saying, where like the mutants joined the Avengers and people still didn't like the mutants, like even though they were part of the Avengers. So like it was an interesting time to see something like that. And I feel like they're probably going to try to incorporate that into the MCU. I hope they do, because I feel like that'd be a better track to go, like to show that gaze of people not liking it but not understanding why, especially with Wilson being Captain America.
Right. But I think one thing Marvel can do that they have going for them, at least in my mind, for them doing the mutants. So like when we say like mutants like are oppressed and people's hate of mutants, like this right now could be a perfect time for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So like let's say mutants come out the woodwork, people have powers, and then for whatever reason whatever stupid reason they're gonna come up with, and let's say that happens, and then people now have seen, like, they've seen what happens with Thanos. They've seen what happens when like Loki attacked New York with his stuff. That could be a reason why people start being like, you know what, no, we don't like mutants, because we don't want no power shit happening here, because we seen what happens. Half the world got blipped away because of Thanos. You feel me? And that can lead to people hating them.
You talking about this, like we're gonna touch on something like that inside this Dark Crisis story at DC. Something similar to that is happening inside the Dark Crisis story right now. So we're gonna touch on that also. But I hear that could be interesting.
But I will see if they do something like that.
Like if the MCU takes that approach.
This is what since they already had a whole bunch of shit happen to them in the world, people could be like, you know what, I'm not fucking with this, like, powered people coming around, and that could be how they start oppressing them.
Let me ask you this: like, you watched the Miss Marvel show, and like Miss Marvel focused on that Avenger Con I keep hearing about. Like, again, I haven't watched it, so like, did Thanos show up at that Avengers Con? Did Thanos' name even come up during that Avengers Con?
Because that was the first episode. Because as she like gets dressed up to go to this Adventure Con, and she like gets dressed up as like Captain Marvel to win like this contest. And I mean, he has to come up because she's a big fan of Captain Marvel, who like stopped all that, who helped stop all that. So I do think, I mean, she talks about, I feel like he had to have come up. Why do you ask?
Because like that could be like the big reason. Like, we don't, like, from what we've seen so far, like, you don't hear about like the PTSD. Like, you heard about it so much in like the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. You don't hear about like the PTSD. I haven't watched Moon Knight, so I don't know how much like that is touched on that.
Moon Knight is standalone. Like, Moon Knight really
like its own universe.
Yeah, not like it's in the MCU, but none of the universe has like really effect on it. What happens in Moon Knight happens in Moon Knight.
Okay,
you feel me?
And I haven't seen like Far From Home. I haven't seen that, so I don't know how much I like the PTSD or the anger of the humans, or like how like all that stuff really affects the people of that universe, of the MCU universe, after like the Thanos snap and people being gone for 2 years and coming back. I don't know how much that plays a role, because like, we're humans. Like we know how like we are. We've seen like how like the humans are in the MCU. They feel like they would be more upset at Thanos or cursing his name, like, because of what he did to them, like how he took away like their family members, and like how people lives changed because of that snap. Like, but we don't hear about that in the MCU.
So we do, but not like that. So like we don't see like you say, like you just said, like people being mad at Thanos, like cursing his name. We don't see that, but you see like I have examples in my head. So like you see parts in like WandaVision about like because Monica was she got snapped.
Okay.
You see people like having to deal. Also in the Doctor Strange movie, there was that one guy that was talking to him about like being gone. Like we see people's PTSD from being gone, or like having people that left and came back, but we don't. I can't say they typically say Thanos. Like you feel me?
Yeah.
They don't like curse Thanos's name. Like it kind of just talked about like themselves. You get what I'm saying? And not more so talking about Thanos.
Which is weird. It's weird to me that they don't do it because it was on Earth where that battle happened like twice. It's like you would figure that they would be talking about it. It's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But let's take a break and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the comics. Sounds good?
Cool.
All right. All right, we are back with part 2 of this. I hope you guys enjoyed all that. We went into a whole thing off camera talking about the MCU and like we went into it, didn't we?
Definitely did.
Fucking Kang in the fucking Ant-Man and Wasp movie. Get out of here. Jeez. Yeah, but anyways, like I'm sorry, I keep bringing up bullshit. Dark Crisis issue number 1. Chapter 1, The Justice League is Dead, Crisis on Infinite Earth, Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis, and now Dark Crisis. The epic event, years in the making, is finally here. Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman and the rest of the Justice League are dead. The remaining heroes are left to protect the world from an onslaught of violent attacks by DC's greatest villains. Can the legacy heroes step out of the shadows of the classic heroes to form a new Justice League? And would that be enough to stop the darkness greater than anything they ever face from destroying everything? Don't miss out on the first issue of the blockbuster event this summer. This is by Josh Williamson and Daniel Sampri, colored by Alejandro Sanchez, and variant cover artist by Greg Capullo. Like, I read this, man. Like, it had like a lot of stuff inside of it, but I really want to know like what you think of it.
So I thought this issue, like starting out the gates, was really good. I thought this was better than some of the previous ones. Like, like because before this we got like stuff where like the Justice League was already dead and everything. So like we had like pre-comics, but like in those, it kind of seemed
just a heads up, like they died in Justice League issue number 75, just so everyone knows. Like, so if you want to know like where this happened or where this started, it was Justice League issue 75.
Yep. I believe we actually talked about it on one
I think we did,
yeah. So that it seemed like ones after that, it was kind of like, oh, the Justice League is dead, but nobody was taking it seriously because they always come back or whatever. But this one, it seemed like it was the first one it took it seriously. Like it was like, okay, Justice League is actually dead. What are we gonna do now? You
like
feel me?
They went to Dr. Fate. They went to like all the different like shadow cabinets, like agencies. They went like to all the different mystics. Like no one can find them anywhere. Yeah,
exactly. So like this one was actually pretty serious, and I like this one because this one we get to see John like go out and try to form a new Justice League. And then what the best part about this was people's reasons for saying no. Like I love that because I think hold on, let me find. I think one people I thought was real funny was Jace Fox, the Black Batman.
I got it here in front of me. He says it took a long time for my father and your Batman to admit to themselves Superman needs a Batman. He says back to John, not this one. Go ask one of the Robins.
And then he was like the last Batman to team up with anyone died.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Dude.
He's like, no, I'm on my own.
That like he just rides off on his motorcycle, like making this, like geez. I mean, like he asked a lot of people. He asked Dr. Light, Swamp Thing, Harley Quinn,
Flora,
yeah. Damien, Killer Frost, Supergirl, like even Peacemaker. Even Peacemaker was asked like to join.
Did you know things are going bad if you ask Peacemaker to be part of your team?
What the fuck? But they did end up finding a team. I think you guys can probably see this here.
Yep.
This art is incredible. Like I'm a big fan of this art.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan too. I like the art. And Josh Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like because he was killing it. He was, we was talking about him earlier because he was writing Robin, Deathstroke. He was writing a lot of comics that led up to
this. Like it's like they're taking Jeff Johns off the table and putting this dude up here instead. You see that too, don't you? Yeah.
Definitely. Like he I think they really allowed him to like cultivate this whole storyline and like, because if you really think about it, like a lot of things that were happening coming up to this, everything kind of fit in line because the Dark Side story went into the Batman, what is it, Shadow War is
going on with Deathstroke and Robin.
Yeah, and that led directly into this,
which is like, them like all the villains being led by your dude Slade Wilson. Yeah, taking on like the Titan's Tower.
Yeah, and then so I like that because he was like, Deathstroke was like, this is the next breed of heroes. You feel me? And he's like, and plus, the Titans right now are training new heroes
at Titan Academy.
Yep.
I think the real cool thing about this is like if you guys read what's the sort of like the No Hope, No Justice series, where like the whole thing got started with the Dark Knights and Perpetua and all those things. Like all that started out with like Luthor wanting to create villains to take over for heroes. Like he wanted villains like to be like on the forefront, villains to be like on the limelight. And it seems like Slade liked that idea, and like he's also carrying on with that same tradition, like making villains being like the next step, like to take over everything.
Right. And then plus, at the end of Shadow War, just to add more context to this, Deathstroke, he dies, but then they put him in a Lazarus pit, and the Lazarus pit kind of has like that darkness that took over everybody, like Dark Side and everything. Ooh. So he like gets in the Lazarus pit, and like the darkness kind of takes him while he's in the Lazarus pit, and it's kind of why he's like so crazy right now. So hard
pressed now, huh? Okay.
Yeah, like he's different. So like this is like Deathstroke kind of infected by that darkness.
That's crazy. And like as you guys know, this is a show we do like spoilers the entire time. We probably should have said that from the jump, but like it's always spoilers on here when we talk about this. There is something that happened in this comic book that it's gonna have a long-lasting effect. I'm not sure like how you feel about this, or if you think it actually did happen, but like seeing that,
we're on the same page right now.
I mean, seeing Garfield being shot by Slade, like that was something, right?
That was definitely something. That was definitely, like because that was probably like a hit at Nightwing, you feel me, taking out his mans, you feel me. So, and that was big. It's showing like he ain't playing around for real. He is not playing around.
And like even like you're gonna go a little bit deeper, like when Dick Grayson was giving that eulogy about like all the heroes being dead, and he says something along the lines of as long as we continue to fight and keep these candles burning, the Justice League will live on. And like as soon as he says that, like Slade blows it out.
Blows out the candle.
Yeah,
that was dope. That was like some movie type shit. Right? That was dope. That was dope as hell.
Who like you said, Williamson did like a great job with the comic book. He really he laid it all out. Like all the characters got a lot going on. I was very surprised to see that Robin did decide to join the team. I didn't think he was going to. That took me for a loop. I'm shocked to see Damian Wayne, after he kidnapped all those people and locked them away in the prison, join the Justice League. I mean, come on, like that's not the best choice.
Still my favorite Damian storyline. I love that. He was literally just capturing people and locking them up in his own little prison.
Lobotomizing some of them, dude.
I loved it. It was so Damian.
Dude, straight up. Like, I'm not killing them. Like, I'm not killing them. I'm just locking them up and like wiping their brain. I'm not killing them, man. That's what you said not to do. Like, that's what he wasn't doing. So yeah.
Like no trial, no nothing. He just getting them and locking them up. Like, I loved it. I love that.
Oh, fuck no. Like
that is weird to see him kind of join, but I mean, it's at the same time, it's not because John asked him to.
Yeah, I think if there's anybody else who asked him, he would have the fuck off. But yeah,
definitely, 100%, 100%, 100%. But since it was John, he said, "Yeah."
It having Fox as Batman is gonna be something. So I do think I do think Damian's gonna be the last Robin. Like, period. I don't think Damian's gonna take the mantle of Batman ever. I think he's gonna take that mantle of Robin and make that mantle his own. Like, it's gonna piss off Todd, it's gonna piss off Drake, it's gonna piss off Dick, and probably gonna piss off Duke also. But I think like the mantle of Robin's gonna change. I think Jace and Yara is gonna do their own thing until, like, eventually they probably join the Justice League, which won't happen for a while. But I think like we're gonna see Damian grow into Robin on the Justice League, and like I hope it's good. Like I think I haven't read issue 2, but I see promise in the story. I see something can go really far in this, like in a way that I haven't seen in DC, not with Rebirth, not with New 52, not even with like in Blackest Night. Like I haven't seen like something like this in a good while. Like, and so far, I like what I see.
Right. And I think I like what you're saying. I didn't think about that myself, about Robin not taking the mantle of Batman and making Robin the mantle, which I mean, I feel like they set up for that with his own series, which could definitely lead to that, because his series is just like, Robin, he got a new suit and everything. He got like his own suit. You feel me? Like, and you saying that's gonna piss off like the characters. Tim Drake fans is 100% gonna be pissed off. They already pissed off.
They still want him to be Robin. Like he's still weird. Like he's still like flip flopping with who he is. Like with Drake, and like now he's switching himself right back to Robin again. Like, yeah, man.
With Drake, he was Red Robin. He was like, who? See, I never even cared for Tim Drake. So like,
you can stop that right now. You didn't grow up in the 90s. You did not grow up in the 90s. Like, Tim Drake is my Robin. You watch yourself, young man.
I never cared for Tim Drake. And people always be like, yo, how don't you just care for Drake? Because like, for number one, I don't really care for Robin as the thing. I think me and you talked about this before. I said, like, for me, there would be no Robin. I like Dick Grayson, so I give him a pass. But I feel like for me, after Jason Todd died, he wouldn't have another Robin except for his son.
Okay.
You feel me? Like, I just think, and plus, I don't see why Batman would have a Robin in the first place. Like,
as a grown adult having a kid, like he's fighting crime like that. No, I get that.
Right.
I get the optics of that, but Savior though. Robin. Savior, like do you remember Savior?
Who's Savior?
He's he's the lunatic Tim Drake from the future. For the alternate future timeline.
That tough with the tough design that came
with the V.
I think it was in like the Teen Titan. It was either Titans or Teen Titans comic that was in.
Yeah, he was in like, I think, the Tim Drake special. Like after Tim Drake had died, like
because that was like
showed up.
Yeah, because that was like a crossover event that happened, right? And he had came back from he was from the future and he came back to, I think, kill somebody.
Yep.
Yeah, I do remember that dude. That was a tough design. I'm ready to look it up.
Still looks cool. Yeah, it does. They gotta bring that guy back. I mean, unless he's dead, but they gotta bring back Savior. Absolutely, he should definitely be like one of these new Justice League antagonists. Most definitely, because he knows their secrets, and like he's unstoppable. He's kind of damn relentless. So yeah, I think how he was caught was the future league of the Young Justice gang. I think it was Connor Kent. It was Cassandra Sandsmark and Tim Drake. Not Tim Drake, but Bart Allen, who grabbed him and brought him back to their time. But like he'll escape. He'll come back. They always do.
Yeah, no, that was a tough design. Yeah. I remember that one.
And like if ever like a cosplay, like they would be a suit like that, definitely.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, like I could never wear Jason Todd. Jason Todd is like I could never get past Jason Todd crying as much as he used to back in the day. But it's whatever. See, I give it to all the characters.
That's probably why they voted for him to die.
I mean, dude, he used to cry. Like even like when he came back, when he was like resurrected, all he did was cry all the time. like all the time. And like people will compare him to Punisher. Like, why would you compare Jason Todd to Punisher? Punisher, rarely. I've seen Punisher cry at least once. Jason Todd cries every time he sees Batman. Every time he every time he interacts with Batman, he cries. Like, come on, dude, get out of here. Whatever. Like he sees a picture of Batman, he starts weeping.
Yeah.
That's rude. That's like
That is very rude. That is very rude.
I know Jason's one of your dudes, but yeah.
No, but it's true though. It's very true. It is very true.
But let's touch on like Land of Living Gods before we sign off here. Like you read this, you got like some words to say like to hype people up for the next episode.
Yeah. So for Land of the Living Gods, what we're going to talk about next episode, it's a series out right now. It's actually the first volume, I guess, or first story arc of it just ended at issue 5. Mm-hmm. It's actually a very dope story, written by Isaac. I'm gonna have trouble saying this name. Mojajan.
Is it Mogahan?
Mojajan. I don't.
Is it Mogahan?
You're looking at the name?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
And the art's by Santos.
Yeah. The art, number one, that's one thing. When we get to, we'll talk about it more, but this is the art in this comic is great. It's kind of like a futuristic African comic that takes place in the future that deals with kind of like gods and like gods, and of course it says the land of the living gods. So we'll talk more about that on the next episode, but this is very dope comic out right now.
So yeah, I'm excited for this. Like, I'm sorry I didn't get to read it, guys, but we got a whole comic book to talk about just for this one episode, and hopefully, like that episode after that, we can come back to Dark Crisis number 2, because that's all I'm going to be reading right now is DC
Isn't
stuff.
Dark Crisis 2 out?
It's already out, but like I want to go in order. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right. Have you read it?
No.
Okay, I did. So I'm not gonna say nothing.
Okay. Oh, you know some stuff then, huh?
I do.
Oh, see, I gotta read the tie-ins too. So I'm that guy. I gotta read.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple tie-ins for Dark Crisis right now. I think the Flash tie-in just came out yesterday, actually.
Okay.
For everybody, today is February 20th, so that was February. I mean, that's not February.
What you fucking time traveling, dude? What the shit?
It's July. No, sorry.
Where are you right now, man?
I have no clue. I'm in the multiverse somewhere.
He said fucking February. Dude, it is 80 degrees outside. July
20th right now. And, yesterday was July 19th.
I am not editing any of that.
Don't keep that in there. But like I was saying, the Flash tie-in, I believe, just came out yesterday, which is I haven't got a chance to read that, but that's basically a tie-in. I think that's Wally and Wallace West both looking for Barry, I believe.
I gotta ask you about that, because like out of all the people that John did ask, he did ask. I'm gonna assume that's Jesse Quick with the blonde hair. He has 2 speedsters. Like there's one blonde speedster who I'm not familiar with, and he also asked Wallace to join the Justice League, and like they said, like they're both with Wally, like they're going to be working with Wally, and like I was wondering, like what did you think of that? Like how did you feel about that?
That makes sense, because right now I believe in the Flash comic, like I said, the tie-in, they're really focused on trying to find Barry, and then Wally is kind of the new Flash, and then Wallace is kind of coming under his wing as Kid Flash right now. Like this is like just recent, like he's coming under his wing. So I could see them staying there and trying to find Barry. Because I think the whole point of them showing them say no is to show that in their tie-in they're looking for Barry.
They're doing their own thing. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. All right.
Which is dope. Like I think really the people at DC and all of these comics, I think they all must have sat in a room together and planned to come to this event, because like just with the different stories, like that with the Barry like Wallace not joining, even Jace, even how small that is, him doing his own thing, because he's in New York right now, like freshly in New York. So like that's him doing his own thing. Robin coming up to this point, it really feels like, because even though Josh wrote a lot of the story leading up to this, there were still everybody else's story still
A lot of
led up
wiggle
to this
room.
that he wasn't
Yeah.
writing.
And like it seems like they're gonna be like going in that direction, even though all this stuff is still happening in the background. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's really like setting up like some world building. That's what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's also what I'm gonna look out for is like I said, with the Flashes doing their own thing, the reason why they said no, I'm waiting to see like everybody else, like what could they be doing during this and why they, if they're gonna show what they're doing during this and why they said no. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see.
See, this is gonna be fun. Like reading Land of the Living Gods and like coming back for another week talking about Dark Crisis 2. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna read the tie-ins too. Like if you read the tie-ins, that's up to you. But like I want to read the tie-ins. Like I want to make like a definitely like a big thing out of Dark Crisis on Comic Point. So that's my whole thing until it's over.
Definitely. And now we can go into the tie-ins. I remember I read the one tie-in I read was Young Justice.
Okay.
Number one, it was weak. I can't really remember what happened. I remember thinking I did not like it. And 2 came out and I didn't get it. But I'll keep up. For this, I'm gonna keep up with all the tie-ins.
Right on. Can't wait. All right. Well, I think that's the show, man. Anything you want to tell people before we go?
Thank y'all for watching and subscribe to both of our channels and continue to support us.
Yes, all that. Check all those boxes. Absolutely.
Yep. Every last one.
I'm D of FTO Nerd Talk.
And I'm Justice of Your Nerd.
This has been fun. You guys take it easy. Have a good night. Hey guys, D here of FTO Nerd Talk. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends about FTO Nerd Talk. Got a lot of different shows for all of you. Make sure you tune in every week for a brand new episode. Take it easy.